What's up, everybody, and welcome to the PUNISH3R'S podcast on YouTube. I am your host, Jaime Nazario, a.k.a. Tito Rivera, a.k.a. The Punisher, a.k.a. the guy who wishes that he could talk to Stephen A. Smith. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I am elated. Today we're going to talk about one thing. And that is the Los Angeles Lakers. More specifically, we had Magic Johnson, Irvin Magic Johnson, come on Stephen A's show, First Take, every weekday morning on ESPN. He was, I don't know if the correct word is explosive or on fire, whatever the case may be. Magic Johnson came out and spoke nothing but the truth. He was Paul Pierce, ladies and gentlemen. The truth shall set you free. And Magic Johnson is a free man. Officially a free man, because a lot of people, myself included, had been wondering, why did Magic Johnson step down, as president of basketball operations for the Los Angeles Lakers. And now we know. He did not hold anything back. I mean, this man out of the gate. And I keep in mind that now that I'm working the first shift at work, I could not watch First Take. However, I watched the YouTube videos that ESPN produces of the show, and based off of that, Irvin Magic Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, the YouTube videos alone, I cannot imagine the clips of the show that did not make it onto YouTube. Because I can tell you right now that 2-hour show must have been, no words could describe what that show must have been. So, here's where I start. First of all, I absolutely hope that Jeannie Buss gets her act together. I really do. Because I believe Magic Johnson. I have no reason to not believe Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson, with the passion in his voice, you could hear it. He seemed hurt by the fact that he wasn't having fun as the president of basketball operations. I mean, if the way he describes it, Jeannie Buss is like a sister to him. So Jeannie Buss having to, or Magic Johnson rather, having to step down, I'm sure that must have hurt a little bit. Because he's just walking away from the job that his, quote, sister gave to him. He called out Jeannie Buss too. Rob Pelinka has a lot of explaining to do. He's got a lot of explaining to do, ladies and gentlemen, because it was reported that Rob Pelinka was running up and down Lakers facilities asking everybody, where's Magic? Where's Magic? To make it clear that Magic Johnson was not there, whilst Magic Johnson was not there. And so when you take that into consideration, you say, well, I guess Rob Pelinka was the reason why Magic Johnson stepped down. Magic Johnson probably wanted to fire Rob Pelinka. Because I don't believe for a second, when he talks about him wanting to fire Luke Walton, nah. I'm pretty sure he wanted to fire Rob Pelinka. Luke Walton was gone too, but I think Rob Pelinka was his main, his attention, where his attention was headed. Because as has been stated many times by numerous reports, Magic Johnson inherited Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka and him were paired together by Jeannie Buss. And so now we have to ask ourselves, here's what I want to know. How does what is LeBron James going to respond? What is his response going to be? LeBron James, right this second, is the marquee for the Lakers. What's his response to this? How does he feel? Does this make him not want to trust Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, and the rest of the Lakers? Frank Vogel, hey man, how do you feel about all this information that's coming out towards the team that you work under right now? That being Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, etc. How do you feel about all this news that came out? Hell, Frank Vogel, how do you feel about the fact that they gave you Jason Kidd and that you're probably going to be fired within 2 years? How do you feel about that? Nobody has an answer as of right now. Apparently, the Lakers were going to have their press conference tonight for Frank Vogel. And apparently, Rob Pelinka should stay away from that. I wouldn't blame him. But on the other hand, I feel like the drama that's percolating around the Lakers, I mean, there goes my beautiful dream of having Kyrie team up with LeBron on the Lakers. There goes that. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I am a professional wrestling fan. I will say it unapologetically. And I live for great matches. And if those great matches have 2 tag teams on either corner, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. And what was I thinking? I was thinking, well, on the Clippers, you're going to have Kawhi Leonard. Why not team him up with Kemba Walker? And on the Lakers, LeBron and Kyrie. That sells tickets. That puts behind in seats. The Staples Center would have been booming, ladies and gentlemen. Those Clippers and Lakers games, if I would have gotten what I wanted, good Lord. I'm almost sure you would have had a 50-50 split, Lakers and Clippers. I'm almost sure of that. But no. And I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron James asked for a trade. I'm here to tell each and every single one of you right now. I personally asked Stephen A. Smith if it was a possibility for LeBron to go to either Sacramento or to go to the New York Knicks. Stephen A. told me, your point makes no sense. So my point makes no sense. I guess he's not going to Sacramento. And I guess the Lakers aren't allowing a trade either because apparently he's got a 15% trade kicker. And here's how Stephen A. explained it to me. Simple as this. If LeBron James has $100 million left on his contract, 15%, meaning $15 million, immediately goes to him. And Stephen A. said that the Lakers would not want to do that. But getting back to Magic Johnson, I'm happy. I'm very happy that Magic Johnson, spoke up. Because that lets the public know, hey, I tried as hard as I could, and I was not allowed to do anything about it. Anyway, that was, 10 good minutes of Laker talk, and I'll probably get back to that considering how there's where I think that LeBron James could go. But we'll get into that later. I have been trying to do this episode for a while now, and I did it once at home, and it just I don't know what happened. My phone just did not record anything from it. I guess that my phone had a glitch and it just did not work. And I tried to do it a second time, and ladies and gentlemen, that audio was just horrible. because I was in my car and I was with my girlfriend and I was trying to get through traffic, and it's not a good idea to try to podcast from your car. My phone thought of it as a phone call, and so instead of me talking into my phone, I was talking into the speaker in my car, the Bluetooth speaker, and that audio, ladies and gentlemen, was horrendous, and that's why I did not upload that either. So I went into deep detail about the NBA playoffs semifinal series. I'm going to just give you the quick rundown. Kawhi Leonard is a monster. Man, would I give anything to have Blake Griffin and Kawhi Leonard team up on my Pistons. It's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. But good Lord, I would be Kawhi Leonard's slave if he went to the Pistons. That shot was sensational, no doubt about it. Who else did we have? We had the Golden State Warriors and the Rockets. I'm very disappointed in that. I truly am. I feel like the Houston Rockets blew it. Absolutely blew it. You should try to get more defenders. You should try to go get Trevor Ariza again. You should try to do that. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Celtics, what's going to happen to Kyrie? What's going to happen to that Celtics team? Who are they going to replace Kyrie Irving with? Because it's very much, it's not quite set in stone yet, but Kyrie is leaving. Kyrie is gone from the from the Boston Celtics. I apologize. Everybody's saying that there's a 95% chance he's going to the New York Knicks. I don't know. As far as Portland and Denver, C.J. McCollum. C.J. McCollum went off. He dropped 37. Fantastic performance on C.J. McCollum. I'm very happy about that. And then we have... Did I touch on every series? Yes, I did. So that's the NBA playoff semifinal series. As far as the conference final series, ladies and gentlemen, the Trailblazers miracle run, the Miracle Kids, it's over. It's over. They're down 3-0. They might get swept tonight at the Moda Center, I believe it's called. Their arena in Portland. They might get swept. The game starts a little bit later on after I probably finish this podcast. I'm probably going to go watch that. Grab myself some Taco Bell, because why not? I went and grabbed real tacos yesterday. That was a good idea. I like tacos. As far as Toronto and Milwaukee, I watched the ending of that game between Toronto and Milwaukee. Kawhi Leonard went off. He dropped 36. And that is how you keep Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, on lockdown. 12 points, fouled out during the first overtime. Keep that man on lockdown. You guys got yourself a series. I just got to say that. I'm rooting for Toronto because, as I've already said, I wanted Toronto and Houston to be in the finals. I wouldn't mind having Toronto and Golden State, because Toronto and Portland isn't happening. But whatever. Beside the point. Now, I want to transition into wrestling, because I saw the Money in the Bank pay-per-view last night. It's not really a pay-per-view. They're more of network specials, but I guess that they're calling them pay-per-views anyway. But I was watching the WWE Network, and I saw Money in the Bank. I saw most of it, I must say, because I did not. I tuned out about halfway through because I was watching that Toronto and Milwaukee game. So that women's ladder match seemed very choreographed, but it was okay. Lacey Evans. I did not know Lacey Evans was actually that okay. You know, I had heard a lot of reports saying that she wasn't very good and that she probably couldn't hang. Lacey Evans is pretty okay. I mean, that match, you know, that did not suck. There was one spot, I think it was supposed to be a slice spread number 2 or something like that, and it just seemed like she couldn't get to that third rope, but pretty solid. Then right after that, we had Charlotte and Becky, and for the second year in a row, we had a cash-in on the same night. Now, at least this cash-in let the match end, even though I think that it's absolute, you-know-what, the fact that Charlotte beat Becky with outside interference, but nonetheless. Becky is still your Raw Women's Champion. And Bayley is your SmackDown Women's Champion. Bayley. Boy, am I happy to see that. Am I happy to see that? Because the way that the WWE had been booking Bayley, I was worried. Was worried about Bayley. But no, not anymore. Hey, we want some Bayley. Hey, we want some Bayley. That's coming back. That is coming back. Hey, Bayley. Who? Ha. I want to know if you be my girl. I'm not a very good singer, by the way. But those are some of the chants that are typically in the UK when Bayley's in the ring, when they're in the UK, directed at Bayley. And I'm very happy that she's champion, and I hope that her and Charlotte have a great run, and I hope that Becky stays on Raw. And let Sasha Banks come back, please. Sasha Banks, I know you're never going to listen to this podcast, but if you do in the near future, please come back to Raw. Because you, as a heel against Becky Lynch, that's something that must be seen. That is must-see television right there. The Miz and Shane McMahon, it was there. Nothing really special about it. AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, that was a great match. I loved that match. Seth Rollins is still the Universal Champion. No disagreement there. Either man would have been a great champion. And then we get to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. I just have one question. Why the hell is Brock Lesnar Mr. Money in the Bank? I get it. You want to print money, sell t-shirts, Beast in the Bank and all that. That's fine. The Money in the Bank ladder match is set to make careers. It's your get out of jail free card. Brock Lesnar doesn't need the Money in the Bank briefcase to be a champion, a contender for the championship. Brock Lesnar doesn't need that. He's Brock freaking Lesnar. He's great. He does not need the briefcase to be a championship contender. You could have given it to Andrade. Andrade's on the come up. He's coming. Could have given it to Mustafa Ali, who, by the way, was supposed to be champion, if you guys recall, before he got injured and Kofi Kingston had to step in. You could have given it to him. I don't see why not. But no, we got Brock Lesnar. This is the reason why popularity is down in the WWE. This is the reason why popularity is down in the WWE. And yet they gave him the briefcase anyway. As I have stated, this podcast is basically me just spewing my BS for 45 minutes to an hour. And I intend to, go on about other sports, activities. From what I hear, and I'm not a very big golf fan, but Bruce Koepka, I believe is his name, won the PGA tournament, the PGA Championship. Congratulations to him. Once again, congratulations to the Toronto Raptors, who beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the second overtime. I would have to look up the score. Congratulations to Bayley, who became the SmackDown Women's Champion. Congratulations to the Usos, by the way, who had a pretty darn good match against Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan in the Money in the Bank pre-show. And yeah, Monday Night Raw going on as I speak. I'm not watching it at the current moment. Probably not going to watch it, although I might, just to see what's going on. But other than that, yeah, it's just a pretty normal day for me. So, the New Orleans Pelicans received the number 1 overall draft pick, which means they're going to receive the rights to Zion Williamson out of Duke. Zion Williamson, I saw the video myself as soon as the Pelicans were announced as the number 1 overall draft pick. Zion Williamson started laughing. And it wasn't like a happy laugh. It was like, oh, great. Oh, boy. I believe that the Pelicans are going to have to do a total rebuild. And I doubt that it'll be around Zion Williamson. I think that they're going to have to get a draft pick. Hopefully, if they can work out something with the Knicks. Because we all know that everybody wanted Zion Williamson to go to a big market team. Although I doubt that the Pelicans are going to give up that first-round draft pick unless Zion Williamson doesn't want to be there. Which was also reported that potentially Zion Williamson could either go overseas or he could go back to Duke or all that because he hasn't signed a shoe deal and he doesn't have an agent. Who should be Zion Williamson's agent? I don't see why it wouldn't be Rich Paul. Clearly, he could do great work. I mean, ask Ben Simmons, ask LeBron James. He could do great work. Draymond Green, whom he just hired earlier this year. Yeah, I don't see a problem with Zion Williamson hiring Rich Paul. That's my pick, personally. Now, where do I want Zion Williamson to go? The Detroit Pistons. Because that's my team, damn it. Now, can I get into a little rant about my Detroit Pistons? You come out of the gates hot after the All-Star break. You have the best record in the NBA after the All-Star break for a stretch of time. I think they went like 10-2 at one point before just collapsing at the end of the season. You drop from the sixth seed down to the 8th seed. If you would have gotten the 6th seed, you would have had to play Philadelphia in the first round. Which I don't think that would have gone any differently than the Milwaukee series because it seems like Joel Embiid just has the Detroit Pistons number. If you would have dropped to the 7th seed, you would have gone up against a team that you swept during the regular season in the Toronto Raptors. I wanted that. That's personally what I wanted. But no. No, you just had to drop to the 8th seed. Had to drop to the 8th and take on Milwaukee. I thought Thon Maker was going to be better. I personally did. Luke Kennard is a good basketball player. He's not great, but he's young. He's got a lot of developing to do. And he was our most consistent shooter throughout the series. Blake Griffin was an all-star last season. I think that Andre Drummond and Reggie Jackson should be traded. Personally. Here's why. Andre Drummond, as the leader of the Detroit Pistons, Andre Drummond does not have any sort of resemblance to a jump shot that I've ever seen. When you think about the best big men in basketball today, I don't mean of all time, I mean today. You're talking Joel Embiid. You're talking about Brook Lopez, who's in the playoffs. You're talking about Marc Gasol, who's in the Eastern Conference Finals with Brook Lopez. You're talking about Boogie Cousins, who's injured. You're talking about Anthony Davis. When you have that combination, and you're Andre Drummond, and you're getting paid max dollars, and you can't shoot your way out of a paper bag, you shouldn't be getting max dollars. You should not be getting max dollars. Now, I understand that the Detroit Pistons drafted him. But damn it, every single other person you've drafted, you've traded away. You traded away Reggie Bullock. You traded away Stanley Johnson. You traded away KCP. I believe. I am not entirely sure about that. But you let go of KCP. You let go of Brandon Jennings. I mean, you traded Tobias, which we got Blake Griffin. I'm not going to argue with that because I'm pretty happy we got Blake Griffin. But beside the point, you trade Tobias. You trade Boban. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if you trade Langston Galloway and Luke Kennard next season. What are you doing, Detroit Pistons? I became a fan of the Detroit Pistons because of one of my favorite streamers on Twitch, Vern Notice. I became a fan of the Detroit Pistons because of Vern. Because I'm a fan of Vern. And when we let go of Stan Van Gundy, and by we I mean the Pistons, when they let go of Stan Van Gundy, and they got Dwayne Casey of all people, Dwayne Casey, ladies and gentlemen, led the Toronto Raptors to the Eastern Conference semifinals last season. I'm going to look up really quick how many wins the Toronto Raptors had last season. If I'm not mistaken, they had 59. You pick him up. And ladies and gentlemen, I thought, well, here we go. You know, we're going to have a solid season. You're going to have a great season. By the way, the Toronto Raptors last season were the first seed in the Eastern Conference with 59 wins. Ahead of the Boston Celtics, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. My Pistons didn't even make the playoffs last season. Now this season they have a better record. They're 41-41. with Dwayne Casey at the helm. You couldn't even win a game against the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know what to say. I genuinely don't. I believe that it is horrible for the city of Detroit. And it's time for Andre Drummond and it's time for Reggie Jackson to go. We signed Wayne Ellington. I mean, I would say the only two people you keep are Blake and Luke. Blake Griffin and Luke Kennard. Those are the only two people you keep. Hell, half the house, trade for Anthony Davis. Why don't you do that? You'll have him for a year, but you could probably make the Eastern Conference semifinals. You might even get lucky enough and make the finals. Think about that. Anthony Davis and Blake Griffin teamed up. Hello? You can't tell me that team would not be formidable in the Eastern Conference. And I understand you got Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Eastern Conference. Who else is in the Eastern Conference? Kawhi Leonard might not be in the Eastern Conference next season. Who else do you have to contend with? Joel Embiid? Okay. Who else? If the Eastern Conference this season is up for the taking, I don't want to imagine what the Eastern Conference is going to look like next season. Now, if Kevin Durant comes over, that's a different story, but I hope he doesn't because I want my Detroit Pistons to get something done. I just dropped my pen. I'm not happy with the Detroit Pistons, but I'm still a fan. And I'll wear my Blake Griffin jersey proudly. I want my Detroit Pistons to do better. That's all I want, for them to do better. As we're coming up on the 32-minute mark, ladies and gentlemen, I think that I'm going to end this one early. Just because I covered everything that I want to talk about, and I just don't want to ramble for another 10 minutes while I, just try to gather time. So, thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. Like and subscribe down below. Leave a comment. Let me know how horrible this video is and how horrible my podcast is if you want. It's not the worst podcast ever because we are not talking shop, but this is second worst podcast ever with Jamie Nazario. I want to thank each and every one of you once again, and I'll see you guys around. Have a great day.